Imagine dropping from the sky 33,000 feet above the earth. You have no parachute, there is no safety net, just you, the freezing wind, the hard ground below, and your life at risk. Now imagine surviving that fall. Sounds impossible, right? Well, this is no movie or fairy tale. This is the story of Vesna Vulović, a woman who defied all odds and lived to tell the tale. But how did she survive a fall that should have been certain death? Was it luck, a miracle, or something science still can't fully explain? Watch till the end, because this is a story you won't believe until you hear every detail. Vesna Vulović was just 22 years old, a young girl full of dreams and working as a flight attendant for JAT Yugoslav Airlines. On January 26, 1972, she boarded Flight 367, ready for another routine journey from Copenhagen to Belgrade. Little did she know she was about to become part of one of the most unbelievable survival stories ever recorded. Mid-flight, at a staggering 33,000 feet above Czechoslovakia, disaster struck. A bomb hidden in the luggage compartment exploded. The plane was instantly torn apart, leaving almost nothing behind. At that time, airport security was much weaker than today. Passengers' bags were not always thoroughly checked, and luggage screening technology was still basic. This made it easier for explosives to be smuggled onto flights. Investigators suspected that the bombing was carried out by Croatian nationalists, a group seeking independence from Yugoslavia. The most likely suspects were members of Ustaše, an extremist faction that had a history of violent attacks. Authorities believed they planted the bomb as part of a wave of airline attacks targeting Yugoslav flights. What made this even more chilling was that there were no warnings or threats before the bombing. Unlike today, where intelligence agencies closely monitor terror threats, back then, such attacks often came without any forewarning, making them nearly impossible to prevent. The bomb was cleverly designed with a timer, ensuring it exploded mid-flight for maximum destruction. The wreckage scattered across the sky. Passengers and crew were thrown into the freezing air, falling at terminal velocity, meaning they were hurtling downward at nearly 120 miles per hour, the fastest speed a human can reach while free-falling. Everyone was struggling against the odds to survive, but failed. No one could survive this, or so it seemed. Vesna, still trapped inside a section of the fuselage, was plummeting toward the earth. The temperature outside was cold at around minus 60 degrees Celsius, and the lack of oxygen should have made survival impossible. But something incredible happened. The wreckage she was in hit a snow-covered hillside, which absorbed much of the impact. Trees and the angled terrain helped slow her fall just enough. Against all odds, she was alive. What's crazy is that another flight attendant named Vesna was originally scheduled for that flight. Due to a scheduling mix-up, Vesna Vulović was mistakenly assigned to replace her, unknowingly stepping into history. She was discovered by a local villager named Bruno Honke, a former World War II medic. He heard screams coming from the wreckage and rushed to help her, which likely saved her life. Vesna Vulovic's family was devastated when they heard about the crash. At first, they assumed she had died, like the rest of the passengers and crew. When rescuers arrived, they were in disbelief. Vesna had suffered severe injuries, a fractured skull, 2 broken legs, a broken pelvis, crushed vertebrae, and temporary paralysis. Yet she was breathing. She was alive. She spent days in a coma, but miraculously regained consciousness. It was very shocking that she had no memory of the crash, which is most probably due to the fracture on her skull and the trauma. However, she defied expectations and made a remarkable recovery. Vesna's family played a huge role in her rehabilitation. Her mother, in particular, was very protective of her and encouraged her to keep fighting. Within months, she was walking again. Despite doctors fearing she might never walk again, Vesna defied expectations and made a near-full recovery within months, although she walked with a slight limp for the rest of her life. So how did Vesna survive a fall that should have been fatal? Experts believe several factors played a role. 1. The fuselage. Unlike the other passengers who were thrown into open air, Vesna remained trapped inside a section of the plane's fuselage. This part of the wreckage acted like a protective shell, absorbing some of the shock from the impact. Additionally, being inside a confined space may have prevented her body from spinning uncontrollably, which could have caused more severe injuries or instant death. The position she was in when the wreckage hit the ground may have also played a role in her survival. 2. The snow and terrain. Instead of hitting hard pavement or rocky terrain, Vesna's section of the plane crashed into a snow-covered hillside. The thick layer of snow acted as a natural cushion, reducing the impact force that would have otherwise been deadly. The trees in the area may have also helped slow down the wreckage before it hit the ground. This combination of factors turned what should have been certain death into a miracle of survival. 3. Low blood pressure. One of the most mysterious factors in Vesna's survival is believed to be her naturally low blood pressure. Scientists suggest that this unusual trait may have prevented her heart from bursting due to the rapid decompression when the plane broke apart mid-air. Normally, such a sudden drop in pressure causes extreme bodily damage, but Vesna's body may have been able to withstand it better than most people. While rare, this condition might have been one of the key reasons she lived through the impossible. Her survival remains one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. People around the world were stunned by her survival. Many called it a miracle, while others were skeptical and couldn't believe it was possible. News outlets covered her unbelievable survival story, and she quickly became a global sensation. Some believed divine intervention played a role, while others looked for scientific explanations. Despite her injuries, Vesna was determined to live a normal life. She didn't like being famous just for surviving. She wanted to return to flying, but due to her fame, the airline gave her a desk job instead. She later became an activist and lived a quiet life in Serbia. She often took this incident a comedy way and said, "I'm lucky I survived, but I'm also lucky I don't remember it," until her passing in 2016 at the age of 66. She died quite peacefully and naturally in the apartment and was found dead after a few days. Her story continues to inspire millions of people. Vesna became world famous, even making it into the Guinness World Record for surviving the highest fall without a parachute. Falling from 33,000 feet with no parachute and surviving? It sounds like something out of a movie, but Vesna Vulovic proved that sometimes the reality is even stranger. Her story is a testament to the unpredictability of life and the incredible strength of the human body. Vesna Vulovic's story is more than just survival. It's fate itself. She fell from the sky and faced impossible odds, and yet she lived. Was it luck? A miracle? One thing is certain, her story will never be forgotten. And there you have it, another wild survival story that proves humans are basically part cockroach. We just refuse to go down. But what do you think? Which part of this story blew your mind the most? Or do you have an even crazier survival story we should cover? Drop it in the comments. I read them all, even the weird ones. Now, if you enjoyed this and want more insane, real-life survival tales, smash that subscribe button like it's your last can of food in the apocalypse. And don't forget to hit the bell icon, because we've got new survival stories dropping every single week. Remember, survival isn't just a skill, it's a mindset, and watching this channel totally counts as training. Stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.